Okay, so here we're going to estimate delta y, so the change in y using differentials. So differentials meaning the d notation, right? So like this. This is a differential here. Okay, so we're given the following information that our function is y equals cosine x, also known as f of x equals cosine x. You can write it either way. Our a value is pi over 6, and our dx, the change in x, this is the same thing as saying delta x, but here we're using differential, so we'll use that d instead, is equal to 0.014. Okay? So how are we going to find delta y? So let's write out the equation first of all. So delta y is the change in y, and now if we want to switch into differentials, we just write a d instead of that delta. So dy, and then we know that this is about equal to, according to our linear approximation, about equal to f prime of a times the change in x. So that would be dx instead of that delta x, okay? So this is the same exact thing as saying delta f, the change in f, is about equal to f prime of a times delta x, okay? We just replace that, the deltas, with d's instead. Okay, and y means the same thing as f in this case. All right, so anyway, so we're going to go with this line here, and so what we have to do is figure out f prime of a, okay, and then we already have our dx, so we just plug that in. So what is f of x? That's just cosine x, so our f prime of x is going to be a negative sine x, okay, and now let's plug in our a value. So our a value is pi over 6, so we're going to get negative sine of pi over 6, and sine for that is a 1/2, so we're going to get negative 1/2 for f prime of a, or f prime of pi over 6. And then we can bring down this information, so dx is equal to 0.014. Okay, so we're just going to plug that in to our equation on the next slide. Okay, so now we have that dy, which is the same thing as delta y, that's going to be equal to about f prime of pi over 6, which was our a, times delta x, or dx, right? So we're going to plug those pieces of information in. So we have f prime of f prime of pi over 6 was equal to a negative 1/2, all right? And then we were given that dx is equal to 0.014. So when we plug that in, we basically just get a negative 0.007. So this is about equal to our delta y.